Good evening, Hammett.
How
How are you?
Doing good. Thank you. Can you make me a host?
Yes, sir. Hang on just a second, and I will do that.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, good to see you.
See you, Paul.
Okay.
And let's see if you can see my presentation a little bit better. I can probably make it larger than this, but is it okay?
Yes, yeah, we can see it.
Okay, good.
How about it, Paul? Are you seeing that okay? Yeah, okay, good. He's shaking his head. That's a good sign. Thank you.
If you see me seeing on my side, it's because everybody's face is on the side. So I'm looking
Right.
at faces and I look like I'm not looking straight.
Welcome. Remind me again your name? Autumn. Lisa. Yes, yes. Welcome, Autumn. Everything good on your end, Hammett?
Yeah, so far so good. We have some visitors in the house. So Patty is going to be with them for a while. And I'm going to do my class. So far, so good. Everything is, the day is beautiful now. It turned out good. It rained for a while, got cool, and now it's really nice.
Yes, yes, it is turning out to be a beautiful evening.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait a few more minutes for people to join
Yeah.
and come in.
Yeah. It's 6:56 in my clock, so we have a few more minutes.
I'm just grateful that the technology seems to be working okay on our end.
Yeah, and you know what?
Without Linda here. So I'm grateful for that right now.
Yeah, it probably causes a lot of anxiety in the beginning of every class, but then you know what? It's okay. We are all connected, and everybody has patience to work things out, and it eventually works.
Yes, if you can't have patience at the Buddhist class, then would be a really good challenging prospect everywhere else.
We have Ian Parker with a nice little picture of a puppy.
Ian, sir.
Ian, yes, Ian, it's you, Mr. Parker, yes.
Yes.
Martin. Hello, Martin.
Welcome, Martin. There he
Really
is.
helping. There I am. Hello, everyone.
Hey. Oh, enjoying
Good to see
the
you all.
outside, huh?
Yeah, it's more private that way.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I get to have birds.
Oh, yes, very nice. Okay, we got Jeevan coming in. Hi, Jeevan. Missing you here tonight in the Kadampa. Good to see you on Zoom, though. And yeah, everybody's coming in now.
Yeah, that's usually what happens right at the time.
Right on the money.
Yep, and it's all perfect. That's really good because, it's job and work and eat your dinner and
Right.
Hey,
Okay,
Jeevan.
Ben's just joined us. Welcome, Ben.
Well, it's 7 o'clock, so why don't we at least start now, okay?
Okay, that's all yours, Heyman.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining. This is the second session of the module number 4, the spiritual teacher. And so let's do, at least if you are able to do prostrations, great. If you're not, at least sitting on your chair, mental prostrations 3 times. Okay, so Om Namo Manjushri Namo Sushri Namo Tamashri Soha. Om Namo Manjushri Namo Sushri Namo Tamashri Soha. Om Namo Manjushri Namo Sushri Namo Tamashri Soha. Again, this is an optional thing, and people need to understand if there's somebody new in the Kadampa or online, we are not prostrating to someone. Okay, you're prostrating for reasons such as respecting the teachings and the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. You're humbling yourself and developing good qualities and admirations. And one teacher told me, you're basically saying, I want this. I want this. You are developing your own Buddha mind. So this is why we prostrate. Okay. So with that said, we're going to move forward. Okay, let me see if I can move forward here. So these are the postures that people take. So just at least you see it. Okay, so for today, we're going to start with, as usual, with a little meditation, just calm abiding and set up our motivation. I'll do a brief recap so far. I always like to do these. Some people find it's repetitious, but a lot of times we don't capture everything in the first class, and some people are new, they come for the first time, And it's always good to connect and link everything up properly. And then what's new for the today, we'll go through that in a minute. Then we'll do a meditation, we'll dedicate, and then we'll look at the next preview, okay? Next session preview. So let's let our mind, and let's all bring our mind to this classroom today, keeping your back straight, legs on the floor nicely, or sitting in a Vajra position with folded legs. Arms are relaxed, head slightly inclined forward. Just gaze on the floor or in front of you or at your nose. Your jaw and mouth are relaxed, and your teeth are slightly apart so you don't bite yourself, and lips are lightly touching each other. Your tongue rests lightly on the upper palate, okay? And it touches the back of your upper palate. Your eyes can be shut in the beginning, but learn to keep them slightly open. Any meditation is always good to be aware, but still internalizing it. So it's really nice to be just slightly open if possible. And then scan your body. See if there's any discomfort. Release any tension you may be holding. And let's observe our breath for a few minutes. And the reason we go on the breath in the beginning, first of all, it develops concentration. It's neutral. There is no picture. There's something to just feel, see, and we do it every day. So we are concentrating on that. And by doing and focusing on one thing, it kind of removes other parts from your head. That's one reason it develops concentration. And then you need to realize that when you're concentrating on your breath, naturally breathing easy in and out, if thoughts will come, as soon as you do it for a couple of times, all of a sudden a story comes in your mind. Don't follow it. Simply look at it, observe it, and come right back to the breath. So you're telling your mind again and again, I need to concentrate on my breath. Okay, so just let's do that for about a minute or so. Just concentrate on your breath. Now let's set our motivation and shift your meditation in order to cultivate a positive and altruistic motivation. Think that you are taking this time right now to learn about Mahayana teachings of Buddha, not just for your own intellectual curiosity or even for your own self-improvement only, but in order to become a person who is able to bring true benefit and happiness to the world and to the others. With that, you can bring your mind back to the class. Okay, so we're going to do a brief recap just to connect the dots and keep it going forward. So we started our class with a video, of course, and you got a good overview of the video, but we started with what does it mean? What is Guru devotion? The very word Guru devotion sometimes conjures up some negative thoughts. We think about cults and am I losing my power? I'm losing my control. And we talked about how in our tradition, this is way, way different. Okay. We don't want to carry those baggage. And why? Because Buddha very specifically talked about the 4 reliances. Okay, I don't know if I have a slide on that, but I'll see if I can go there. No, so we'll talk about that. He talked about when you think about what we are doing, you want to rely on the message of the teacher, not his personality. It's not how charismatic he is, what he's wearing, what is he driving. That's not the point. What is he teaching? Then you rely on the meaning, not just the words. Words are conventional. We all carry different thought patterns for a given word. So you're thinking a little more deeply. Then the third thing he says, rely on the real meaning. There's always a conventional meaning and an ultimate meaning. In other words, things when you don't understand the real concept of emptiness and how things exist, what happens is we just simply see the words and conjure up based on our own definition of that word. But you need to go deeper than that. And then rely on the wisdom mind, not on an ordinary judgmental mind. Okay, that's self-explanatory, that we come with our own opinions and judgments and so forth. But keep an open mind when you first do this. So we then talked about the 3 vases, didn't we? We talked about how to keep an open mind. And all that was trying to tell you is, if you have an upside down vase type, this is a metaphor. When we don't really want to listen to something, okay, we are not really listening. We kind of attend the class, but our mind is somewhere else. Okay, we don't pay attention and we are distracted. And then what happens, the dirty vase represents the minds that is filled with a preconceived notion, right? We already have thoughts in our head that saying, oh, well, I don't really go for this stuff. But, so you come with that mind, but you are in a class after all. So you want to keep an open mind. And then the third one is a cracked vase. You learn something, it affects you, it impacts you, but then we don't integrate it. We don't discuss it. We don't read about it. We don't ask a teacher. We don't go further than that. We just attend the class, and then 2 days later, it's out of the mind. So any class you take, any DB class, I hope that you carry something from it and it carries you forward. Okay, you take some lessons from it, you learn from it, ask somebody, and then it only will help you to improve your own journey. So that's the point of this particular example. It's a very common example given in the class. Then we talked about why we need a spiritual teacher. Okay, and we talked about there's very little in life we don't learn that is usually taught by a teacher. Think about your parents. Think about your mother, who taught you how to walk, how to crawl, what to wear, how to take a bath. So we have had teachers all of our lives. If you were lucky enough to go to school, then you had teachers there. If you want to get professionally learn something, you can only get so much information from searching on a website. But in order to really get good at something, you need some guidance. We kind of all know that in a way. So we need a spiritual teacher for that. But most of all, we are talking about a spiritual journey, right? We're not talking about just some physical activity. We're talking about a mind. It is already very complex. Spiritual dharma topics, if you think about what is samsara, what are we renouncing? How do the mind work? How does our mind work actually? And what do the delusions, how do the delusions interfere with my life? What are they? And how can we overcome them? What are the requisites to get enlightened? How do we gain all of these things? What is enlightenment? All these questions in our mind somehow needs to get organized, integrated so we can move forward, right? So we need to understand that we need somebody who's been there, who's done it, okay? And so it's very important for somebody to guide us. We have, our mind, like I said, already comes with the delusional mind. We hallucinate a lot based on words, language, perceptions, projections, and so forth, right? And so then how can we be sure that what I'm learning, what I'm practicing is correct, is actually helping me? And you can't always rely on gut feelings. So this is why it's important that somebody is there to guide us, to give us that information. So It's like a guide in the wilderness. We talked about, gave an example of that. If you were to go to a wilderness, there's only so much you can find out about that location. But a good guide will actually walk you through the path properly and make sure there is not a place you may slip or fall or get lost, or know more about the wildlife in that particular forest or a jungle, wherever you are. So they have a little more knowledge, so you're safe and you're protected and you will get to your destination. Similarly, this is what a teacher can do for us. Okay, so that's what it's all about. So then we're going to talk about how to find a spiritual guide. Okay, but before that, we need to also understand, are we ready to become a disciple? You know, it's so easy to find something interesting, our mind gets carried away, and we go to the next good thing that is happening. You know, it's like a trend thing, you know. But it is important that if you are practicing Buddha Dharma, you need to have some fundamental understanding of what it is all about. And simple things like you need to have a firm grounding on some preliminary subjects, right? Recognition of one's own suffering. So when we talk about suffering, people think, oh, here we go again, right? No. Think about complications in life. Think about birth, sickness, death, dying. Those are very major complications. Then you need to know that I want to get out of it. I don't want it. You know, we do have pleasures in life. We have good things in life. Nobody's saying not to enjoy your life. But we understanding there's a difference between enjoying life and then clinging on to something so badly that when you don't have it, you feel lost or feel like something is going away from your life. You need to know or understand the refuge. What are you taking refuge in? Think about a child when he's young and a mother who loves the child. When a child doesn't know what's going on or is scared or doesn't know something, runs to the mother. Similarly, we have a teacher. So then knowledge of what to practice and what to avoid. That's very important, right? If you're trying to really remove your obscurations, remove the negative states of mind or what we call delusions or hallucinated way of thinking, then we need to know what are they. So when you take karma, I don't know if you've already gone through karma or not, but it's coming up pretty soon, then you will learn about the non-virtuous actions of body, speech, and mind. This is what we need to avoid. Then you need to find out what's the antidote to that. How do I make it better? So you will learn those things. And then you must have a little understanding of what a bodhicitta is. This is difficult for some people because we have in this today's world, it's very easy to not to think about everybody. But it's a different way of looking at it. When you are a Buddha, when you become enlightened, you want to benefit others. You simply want to see others happy. Okay? It's not talking about getting into going there and going here and trying to do this and do that. It's not like that. Okay? It's a mental state that we need to know. We don't want to develop anger. Okay? So this is why it's a little beginnings of bodhicitta is very important. All right, so you can see that even before you find a spiritual teacher, it's important that we have some foundation. Okay, so let's see. So then we need to understand what is a spirit, what is a guru. And I'm not going to go into details. This is a brief recap. The word guru stands for that two meanings. There's an alternative meaning and a real meaning. First one is heavy with good qualities. Guru. Right? Guna and ruchi. It comes from the Sanskrit words. Heavy with good qualities. Alternatively, guya and rupa. Hidden secret and body form. And what that really means is qualities are hidden and exceed expectations. Okay? And then in Tibetan, the word lama. Okay? That's a very beautiful meaning. And what it means is one who has given birth internally to what is unsurpassable and sublime. Okay? So it has both the method and the wisdom. And you hear this all the time. I'm going to just tell you for knowledge sake. We see the word method and wisdom, the two wings, and you cannot fly without the two wings. Well, method is the methods provided us for how to function. The paramitas, the generosity, the morality, the patience, and all those, the joyful effort. Some methods, how do we function? And wisdom is the wisdom of emptiness, how things are, how really reality exists. When you mix two, you will learn as you go along your journey and taking some more DB classes, how we function with compassionate mind and knowing how reality is. once you know that, you are going towards awakening. Okay. So those are the things we need to be familiar with. And then what do the teachers always do? Once you have these fundamentals and you have a teacher, they only advance you towards those teachings, right? You come with a fundamental mind and they will take you to the next step, to the next step, to the next step. And the teachers always reveal to us our own minds, our best and worst inner natures. So we grow from wisdom and compassion. And then eventually we surpass our limitations. That's what a guru does. So choosing a spiritual guide, this is from Pabonga Rinpoche, rely on a spiritual guide who is subdued, pacified, most pacified, who has more qualities than you, perseverance, a wealth of scripture, realizations into suchness, who is a skilled teacher, has love and has given up disappointment in disciples' performance. So what are they talking about? So for subdued meaning, they practice ethics. They're morally sound. Pacified, with single-pointed concentration, they can concentrate. Most pacified by an understanding of wisdom of emptiness, how things exist. Having more qualities than you. You take your teacher's attributes, remember that. As you get closer and closer to your teacher, you start becoming like your teacher sometimes. And so naturally you need a teacher that knows more than you and has more qualities than you, of course. And perseverance, they don't give up easily. They are steadfast, right? And knows a wealth of scripture. Look at how lucky we are. Many centers only have people like me teaching or somebody who's has a little more experience, but we have geishas. 26 years it takes to become a geisha. And we have a Larampa Geshe on top of that, which is Geshe-la, much higher. So think about going through a PhD and way more than that. So very, very privileged to have somebody of that caliber even teaching us. And his teacher comes here sometimes, so we got the whole shebang there. A skilled speaker. You need a person who is skilled in speaking and relating to people, right? And has love, kindness, and open heart. So you can, naturally, that's very obvious, and has given up disappointment in teach. So as students, we may bug them sometimes, hey, Geshe-la, I don't understand this, or oh, my teacher, I don't understand this. And they don't give up. They will guide you patiently again and again and again. And I can think about many, many times you wonder why some of our teachers repeat the same thing 3-4 times. And I've always found out, second time it made sense, third time it's like, oh, that's what it meant. So they have patience to teach you till you get it. All right. So those are the things we went through. So remember that as a disciple, how you should be, what a teacher means to you, and why teacher is important. So today, we're going to talk a little bit different about what are blessings, qualities of the disciple, and levels of spiritual teachers. 3 topics only. Hopefully, it's not going to be very, very long today, but depending on how we go from here. So let's talk about what are blessings. Okay? So let's see if I can go. So think about this. Let's talk from a spiritual mentor side. So we're talking about blessings. So a spiritual mentor inspires and moves our heart in a positive way. And so they keep our vows and morality. They keep our refuge strong in our hearts. They generate bodhicitta and live it in our daily lives to eventually become great tantric master. We want to grow. We want to be enlightened. So to keep our vows, to keep our refuge strong, to generate bodhicitta, to eventually become a tantric master, they inspire us. Okay? They keep us moving on the spiritual path. They give us courage to go beyond our limitations. They are a real source of inspiration. So, you might have seen that prayer we have, foundation of all good qualities. This is the smallest lamrim. It is in the prayer book. If you get a chance, every paragraph ends with, please grant me blessings. It will give you a paragraph of 4 or 5 lines, and this is, please bless me. Please grant me blessings. Please grant me blessings. So then what are blessings and how do they affect us? What does it mean? In Sanskrit, the word for inspiration, blessing is adhisthana, not important, just kind of know. And in Tibetan, it's called jinlob. These terms can be roughly translated as waves of blessings that uplift and bring magnificence. Waves of blessings that uplift and bring magnificence. So someone that is a source of inspiration that uplifts us and does so by possessing these 4 characteristics. They're speaking essential truth. They have a calmness about them. They have wisdom, and it brings benefits. If it does not benefit you, you will not pursue this. It will bring benefit. And for those people who are little advanced practitioners in life, just think when you first started or before even coming to Dharma, your mind, and after 2-3 years, have you seen some changes? Are you a calmer person? Are you a kinder person? Are you a more humble person? You will see. His Holiness says that. That's a big step in the right direction. Okay, so they inspire us. So we are uplifted. The first essential truth is they uplift us of the truth from the teachings. So when you listen to the teachings, we analyze it, don't we? Does it make sense? And how many times have we heard our teachers say or Geshe-la say, analyze it. Think about it. See if it really resonates with you. Okay. Second, uplifting towards magnificence of his or her calmness. It calms our turbulent mind. You know, I've seen it many times from when I used to work. I'm retired now. I would be anxious from meetings and things going on at work. And then I would set up a meeting to go and see Geshe-la once. As soon as I enter his presence, I'm like 10 degrees down. All my problems all of a sudden go away. There's something about the energy around them. That could be any Geshe. I'm just talking about generally my experience here. Okay. Third, the wisdom that the teacher imparts to us, we are able to see through our problems. When there's sometimes you have a question in your mind, and my goodness, the teaching will already explain you the answer, will give you an answer. The teaching is about that sometimes. And you feel like the teacher is just talking to you. It's that profound sometimes. And the fourth is creating merits. We are able to create merits by understanding the benefits and able to gain these characteristics and qualities. Why? You have a positive mind. When you have a positive mind, you are kind to others. You're willing to help. You come to the Kadampa and somebody says, we need help with the pillows. Oh, I'm here. We start creating merits. We're able to do that. So these good qualities, this is how they are imparted to us. So let's look at an analogy. The analogy of the sun, a magnifying glass, and a kindling. The sun is like the enlightening influence. Sorry, it didn't go through all the way. The sun can be very hot, but just the sun alone shining in a pile of kindling isn't enough to make kindling burst into flames, right? In this analogy, the sun is the enlightening influence, the energy of Buddha. So think about Buddha like a sun and bodhisattvas, and bringing their energy, and then of course onto the kindling that can catch fire. So in this analogy, without the magnifying glass that can focus the energy for us into a specific expression that works for our minds aren't necessarily able to receive and absorb the influence of Buddhas, right? So the magnifying glass is your spiritual mentor, your teacher. The spiritual guide is able to focus. It brings the focusing element, I should say, of the enlightened energy. And then the kindling is like us. Then it can fire, right? So you have the teachings of the Buddha. You look behind the Kadampa, there's 82,000 teachers, but Geshe-la is able to pick out topics from it, Lamrim, topics. We're going to talk about Om Mani Padme Hum, compassion. We're going to talk about emptiness. We're going to talk about this. So it picks out the teachings most beneficial for us so that we can be like the kindling that gets the focus of this sunlight and then able to kindle. So think of it in that way. And why is that? Why does that happen that way? So there are 4 ways this works. First, because of the trust of in our spiritual guide. The enlightened energy is able to calm our delusions and our mind. We become a little more collected, right? Our energies become more gathered and concentrated. Second, because of our openness with our teacher, the enlightening influence is able to enter and stimulate the good qualities to blossom and develop. And third, because of our respect for our teacher, we are able to gain some control over actions of our minds and our body speech. So what happens is when you are in front of them or in the Kadampa, we resist creating negative actions. We come with a good mind, a little more placid, humble. We resist behaving badly, obvious. We want to behave well or impress him or her. We want to be a good person, not merely appear to be good. Then we act better, we behave better, and be better generally. So you can see the power of that energy that the good teacher, a good geshe, good any teacher, don't mind my using the word geshe. It could be any teacher, good teacher. You already know the spiritual qualities of a teacher. So it doesn't matter who it is. So this week, we kind of discussed that a little bit. We need to have these qualities as a disciple, just a slide. So we're going to now talk about the spiritual teachers. But any questions so far? You know what? I do want to go back to that again, the 3 things that we function with in front of a teacher or a good teacher. I talked about open-minded, but I'm just taking a look at my note and a few words in there that I wanted to talk. You know, we are not being overly opinionated, right? When we are in front of a teacher, we kind of know that they know the material. So your opinions are subdued a little bit, okay? And we are not strongly holding on to our attachments to one's view. We question it, but we are not so tight. We are open to learning. That's a quality we develop, okay? We need to develop common sense and intelligence, okay? To distinguish between correct and false explanation as a disciple, interpretations, to be able to check the teacher. That's one of the qualities we have to have, and their teachings thoroughly. And remember, the strong one is to have interest in Dharma. You need to have that interest. If you don't have interest, then you're just sitting there intellectualizing it, right? Chandrakirti said that a great saint and a propounder of the middle way teaching gave 2 additional qualities we should have. That is appreciation and respect for the Dharma and the teachers. Without that basic respect, there won't be any sufficient openness to accept the possibility that someone could be a good teacher. Second, attentive mind. We are unable to pay attention, then what happens? It's difficult to recognize a good teacher. You need to see what they're saying, what they're teaching. On top of this, a Geshe Potova from Great Kadampa Geshe in Tibet, he said there's one more thing than intelligence. A disciple needs to have a good character and a kind heart. So these are some qualifications we need to also have. Okay. So these are aspirations these are aspirations that will go a long way. It's not necessarily that you all have everything right now, but we develop these. Okay. And then we shouldn't be discouraged. We are always moving forward in this journey together. So let's talk about a spiritual teacher. Oops, hold on for a second. Yeah, there it is. So first we have a professor of Buddhism Okay, so who are professors? So they're a little bit distant, they're objective, not operating from a personal experience. So you take a general religion class or a Buddhism class, and they will tell you the life of the Buddha and what the religion teaches, and types of faiths and types of sects and all this kind of stuff, but nothing personal. It's simply knowledge, a little distant, right? And their goal is what? Just to impart information. You receive information as a student, because you're studying Buddhism or some religions. But remember, with every teacher, there's a corresponding levels of students. If you are simply want to learn about general stuff, you will go to a school where they're teaching this stuff from a professor. So that will be your level too, simply learning for intellectualizing it and knowledge sake. So that's the first level. Level number 2 is a Dharma instructor. Okay, they go hand in hand with level 3, meditation and ritual trainers and Dharma instructors, but Dharma instructors. So that would be somebody like me, right? The Dharma instructors are talking to you with some knowledge of scripture, some knowledge of the information, some level of study, some level of practice. They seem to impart something out of their own personal experience. A Dharma instructor doesn't necessarily have all the realizations integrated into their personality. We are all in the same boat, we're all learning. They may have flashes of understanding, and there are different various levels of all that. Some people have more experience, some people are very into it, some are knowledgeable. And it's like they've been doing this for a bit longer than you have. So you wouldn't necessarily call them a guru. Okay, so that's pretty simple in that. Then you have meditation and meditation ritual trainers. These are more or less par with the Dharma instructors. They can be an older student who have some experience of meditation or ritual or both, and are able to teach you how to meditate, basics of rituals, setting up altars and so forth. These teachers have a little more experience than you, and then they're able to train you in meditation and ritual up to a certain level. So when you enter this level, like DB class or a meditational class, then you are considered a meditational ritual trainee. Now comes an important one, a spiritual mentor. Under this title, there are 4 divisions, as you can see that on the slide. One is the refuge and vow preceptors, Mahayana masters, Tantric masters, and your root guru. Okay, so let's talk about the first one. So here, the first one, the refuge or the vow preceptors. This includes the person from whom you receive your own vows, a refuge or a vow precepts. This includes a person, for example, lay vows. When you take a refuge, you get lay vows, 5 lay vows. And then there are people who take even nun and ordination vows, and I'll talk about that in a minute. In Vinaya, so there are 3 baskets in Buddhism, how the teachings are bucketed. Vinaya are this discipline. The monks live by a certain discipline, the nuns, and also people who take refuge. So the discipline part. The second basket is called sutra, all the teachings. When you go to the Kadampa, you see all the teachings, those are sutras. And then the third is called abhidharma. This is more about emptiness, mind, mental factors, and that kind of stuff, much, much deeper. So this is how the teachings are usually bucketed, just for your knowledge sake. Okay, so in the Vinaya, or the discipline part of the bucket, the text or ethics, ordination, the levels of ethical discipline includes that of monks and nuns. There's a great deal of detail with regard to your relationship with your preceptor or your abbot, in the case of taking ordination of your refuge from your preceptor. So at minimum, ideally, this refuge preceptor should be a Mahayana elder, an elder in the teachings. He or she should be an individual who either is a lay person or an ordained person has kept their vows purely, and so is therefore able to grant ordination out of that pure discipline. So those are that level of teacher. Then you have a Mahayana master, the second subcategory. So every time I move one forward, it includes the previous one. Okay, so Mahayana master also is a refuge and a vow preceptor, but now we go further. A Mahayana master should have all the qualifications that you would have of a refuge preceptor, but now you receive the teachings of the Mahayana teachings, all the teachings. You know, it's amazing to see a person who's like Deshe, they'll tell you, go to book Shantideva, chapter number 6, third paragraph. They know that in their head. Think about that for a second. How many teachings are there? 82,000. Okay, so they know this stuff, right? So they are elder, they know this, they already have the qualifications to be a preceptor. So then they also include granting you bodhisattva vows. There are 18 bodhisattva downfalls, and so many things. So they give you bodhisattva vows. An individual that you're considering taking a Mahayana master as a Mahayana master should also further have certain qualities: advanced concentration, stable realizations of bodhicitta and voidness, emptiness, great freedom from delusions such as greed, pride, anger, and so on. Okay, so you need to understand that. So just so for your knowledge sake, there are pratimoksha vows between 227 to 354 vows from nuns and monks. 227 to 354 vows. Lay vows are only 5. No killing, no stealing, that kind of stuff. Simple stuff. Okay? So we need to think about that. And then the last level within this category is a tantric master. Tantric. Okay, they have the mastery of the tantric rituals, all the attributes of and build on the qualities of the previous categories, a refuge and a vow preceptor, a Mahayana master, right? And then a tantric master clearly has a stable realization of bodhicitta, emptiness, a pure practice of ethics, strong concentration. And they have the ability to bring all of those qualities and realizations to bear, so that when they're granting empowerment, there is something very profound happening. There's an actual transmission of empowerment, a transfer of energy taking place between the power of the mind and your mind and teacher's mind. So to be clear, to avoid confusion, we should be precise about what does it mean when we speak of initiation with the context to Tibetan Buddhism. Initiations are also called empowerments, are specific tantric rituals and visualizations that are engaged in by both the teacher and the disciple or the student. When we participate in a tantric initiation, the joint meditation process creates a powerful karmic bond between teacher and the disciple. They truly bond, and this is a lifelong bond. Okay, this is a karmic connections between yourself and your teacher from whom you take them. And then once you've taken the empowerment from the teacher, it is necessary for your own spiritual development to then see that person as a Buddha, because you see, Buddha is like the sun. They are the magnifying glass. So the speech and the teachings, pure teachings, are coming through them. So there is a way, and we will cover this in the next class, how to see the teacher through thought and through action. Okay, it's your mind. So need to remember that. Only then you are able to develop that kind of trust and a passion to learn and absorb and integrate. Because otherwise, these are just words. We have a tantric master, Mahayana master, who is a geisha, is not a geisha, is a good, is bad. You gotta lose that conventionality a little bit. If you're serious about it, listen to the teachings, take the meanings a little deeper. If we talked about the qualities of a disciple, qualities of a teacher, once you establish that and you feel good in your heart, then what happens? Real integration takes place. because the trust is there, right? So this is very important. And of course, when you invest so much time, effort, and your own personal spiritual journey, and this connection is made, it's when you break it, it is very disparaging for us. It can really like throw us off. So that's why they say check the teacher out first. Make sure this is you are convinced in this step. Then you have a really strong bond, friendship, love, and then they have perseverance. They will teach you, help you, and guide you. This is not to discourage people, but from a disciple point of view, from my point of view, this is very important because once you develop a trust, then you have a friendship going, and they're going to guide you, and you know they're going to guide you in a good way for your own journey. So remember that. Then the last thing we have is a root guru. Okay, what is a root guru? That's a fourth subcategory, can be a teacher from among many other subcategories, a spiritual mentor. But a root guru is most likely to be the one of your teachers who is a Mahayana master or tantric master, but most moves you and inspires your heart and mind, who's there for you all the time, who can talk to you. Because I can think of His Holiness, he's one of my teachers. I take a lot of his teachings, but I'm not necessarily there in Dharamshala and going to Australia and England and every place. I go to Kadampa Center and I have a teacher there, right? So remember that a root guru is somebody that moves you, inspires your heart and mind, and who's there for you, has the most profound effect on you, with whom you feel strongest connection. Any questions?
If anyone online has questions, you can just unmute. Anyone here in the Kadampa? Questions? Okay.
So the question I have is, does this make sense? Does it make sense to you? Does it move some needle in your mind about serious spiritual progress in your journey? And this is one of the root teachings, right? That having a devotion towards a teacher or a spiritual mentor, what it's talking about. Okay. So with that, I'm going to try to close it at 8 o'clock if possible. So we're going to do a meditation. Okay. So I know that evenings go quick, and it's important to remember small things, but remember them well. So try to close it a little earlier today. So let's do a meditation, and the meditation is on Om Ah Hum. I found this beautiful picture and I put it on the slide so you can visualize it. Otherwise, don't worry, simply look at the colors: white, red, and blue. Okay, just for your quick knowledge, in this case, white color represents body, pure speech, red, pure mind, blue. Okay, so we're going to do a meditation on it, and I'll keep this slide here so you can actually, once in a while, if you want to open it and look at it, you may be able to. So this is the meditation called Om Ahum Purification. It is from Lama Thupten Yeshe's, from one of his book called Life, Death, and After Death. So let's sit comfortably and relax your body. Relax your mind by letting go or putting aside any other thoughts of the past or future people, activities, etc. And then again, decide to keep your attention currently on the meditation for duration of the session. So let's start with paying attention to your breath for about 2 minutes. So now, with your minds calm and settled in the present, let's generate a positive motivation for doing this meditation. Think, may this meditation help bring about greater peace and happiness for all beings. Or think, may this meditation be cause for me to become enlightened so that I can help all beings become free from suffering and become enlightened as well. So now visualize a white Om in the center of your brain. Recognize that the Om is the pure energy of divine body of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, or whoever you think is pure. In your own mind, at least for 9 to 10 times, say Om in your mind. You may count if you want to, but a couple of times say Om in your mind and remember what it represents. It's a pure energy of the divine body of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas, or whomever you think is pure. While reciting it, visualize that a white light radiates from the Om in your head and fills your body. This beautiful, bright, white light pervades your body. All your conceptions and the impure energy of your body are cleansed and purified. You can even think of any specific negative actions you have done, harming others, stealing, unwise behavior, whatever imprints, they're completely purified, gone. Your entire body, from your feet up to the top of your head, is completely filled with this radiant, blissful white energy. Really try to feel this. In case you're still chanting in your mind, stay for a while in silence and just be aware, not thinking anything is good or bad, not reacting, not making mental conversation. Simply be aware. White, radiant light. And again, your attention on this light consciousness is at the center of your brain. Be there. So now be intensely aware, and then let it go without sluggishness, without distraction. And we're going to go and now visualize a red ah at your throat chakra. It looks similar to the sun when it is setting. Recognize that the ah is the pure speech energy of Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. As you recite ah slowly for several minutes in your mind, Visualize that a red light radiates from ah at your throat, and your entire body is embraced by this blissful radiating light energy. It purifies your speech. Purification means that the uncontrolled mind and speech work interdependently with each other. Negativities of speech means harming and giving pain to others through lying, slander, harsh speech, gossip. You can imagine that the imprints of your negative actions of speech are completely purified by this blissful red light. Having a clean, clear mind and controlled speech is the way to purify impure, uncontrolled speech. After reciting ahs for several minutes in your mind, let your mind just be in that state of intense awareness of your own consciousness. And stay there without any expectations or interpretations. Comprehend your experience of non-dual, non-self-existent I, nothingness, zero, empty space as truth, reality. This experience is much more real than your waking fantasy sensory world. And as you are meditating, if an uncontrolled, distracted thought comes, remember that not only you, but all other sentient beings are in the same situation. So cultivate much loving kindness for others. Then, when loving kindness arises, direct intense awareness of loving and kindness towards your own consciousness. So there are two things. One, place intense awareness on your own consciousness, and when distractions arise, then you generate loving kindness for other beings. And two, direct intense awareness of loving kindness to your own consciousness. You can alternate them. Next, visualize your loving kindness energy manifesting at your heart chakra in the aspect of a full moon. And then visualize at your heart on a moon disk is a blue radiating hum. And recognize that this is the non-duality wisdom of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas energy. Your heart is pure, cool, calm, opened by radiating light of this moon and the hum. Infinite blue light radiates from the hum and fills your entire body. And your entire body feels blissful. All your narrow thoughts disappear. All indecisive mind disappear. All obsessed minds disappear. Being embraced by the infinite blue light leaves no room for fanatical, dualistic concepts. Visualize this while reciting hum slowly for a few minutes in your mind. After this, feel the infinite blue light like your consciousness embracing the entire universal reality. Your intense awareness is embracing the entire universal reality. Feel and be without any expectations or superstition. In general, we need two experiences, wisdom and method. Wisdom experience is intense awareness of your own conscious reality. This is the way of the wisdom. Method is when you again become out of control and distracted. The distracted experience is a big resource to again generate loving kindness. When there is no distraction, you stay in the wisdom. So two things. When there is a problem, place your attention on the wisdom aspect. And when you are distracted, switch to the method, which is loving and kindness. Let's stay there for just about a minute. And let's dedicate now. So let's conclude our meditation by dedicating the merit or the positive energy of doing this meditation for all living beings. May it be the cause for all beings to be free of their suffering and its causes uncontrolled disturbing states of mind. May they all attain perfect peace and happiness. Okay. So this concludes today. I was wanting to just keep you really thinking about what it is to be disciple, what are the qualities of the teacher, what are the fundamental foundation we must have, how does this relationship work, type of different teachers and your relationships, and what do you gain from it, and why it is so important. If you can carry that through till the next session, that will be good integration to think about. Continue with your readings. I had mentioned last time, for example, if I can take my notes here, there's some required readings. It will help you tremendously. By Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Number one was the kindness of the Guru, if you can read that. Number two was to read the blessings of the Guru. Because we just completed today what are blessings, how they inspire us. Then three, practicing Guru devotion, and then seeing Guru as a Buddha as the last one. And then, of course, you can continue to read Palm of Your Hands from Pabonga Rinpoche. Okay, it's a day number 7 and 8. And my edition is page 217. In the gold one, I think it's 251. And if you care to know more about it, we talked about the book, which is the Wise Student, Wise Teacher, Wise Student by Alex Berzin. You should continue. Next class, we'll talk more. That it may go till 8:15 probably, but relating to one spiritual teacher in thought, need for each level of spiritual teacher, how to regard the different levels of spiritual teacher, and then we'll go into seventh limb prayer, and we'll do a meditation relating to a spiritual teacher in thought. Okay? So lucky today, 8:03.
Oh, okay.
I have
Thank
a
you,
question.
Any questions? I'm available if you have any particular questions. Otherwise, write them down and we'll.
Go ahead with your question online.
Real quick, Can you show the slide on the qualities of the disciple again? I didn't quite catch all of that.
Okay, let me make sure I get to the right slide. Give me 1 second, okay?
Thank you.
Let's see what slide I have that in. I'll go through them anyway, so we'll find out. Oh, qualities of a disciple right there. So I can quickly just tell you this is slide number 15, right? So when we talk about this first one, cultivate basic qualities of a qualified disciple, we're talking about precious human rebirth. We need to understand that this is a precious human rebirth. We have to develop some inner qualities and understand that we are very lucky that we have found the Dharma. And, just if you remember the precious human rebirth, you have a couple of things going on here. You have what they call 8 leisures and 10 endowments. I'll give you a side note here. And one of them is you have all faculties working, hopefully. We are in a human realm. Okay, some of the endowments are that we have Dharma friends, we have Sangha members. We are in a place and time when Dharma is being taught. Just imagine a place right now, somewhere in the Middle East or Ukraine. Okay, think about practicing Dharma there right now. So look how fortunate you are. So these are some of the things we need to develop. We need to have that kind of a mind that understands the gravity of why this is precious human rebirth, and why mainly because things are impermanent, because our mind changes, we are able to change. That's the key takeaway. Precious human rebirth meaning we can change our mind with all our delusions and hallucinations that we carry in our mind streams by finding a good teacher, understanding how precious this life is. You are taking an opportunity to move your mind towards a positive karma, which will then continue in your mind stream for a positive rebirth or a positive state of mind. Okay? And you need to be open-minded. We kind of talked about it. Without prejudice, we talked about common sense and intelligence. So we are able to check the teacher out properly, intelligently. This is not a blind, put your blinders on and just dive into it. You need to analyze, you need to check it out. Have a strong interest in Dharma, right? And then according to Chandrakirti, appreciation, respect for Dharma and teachers, and have an attentive mind. And then that Geshe Patova said, more important than intelligence, a disciple needs to have good character and kind heart. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, anytime. And you know what? If you have some really burning question, like I really don't get it, then write it down and maybe we can connect. I can give you my number, and you can certainly connect with me. We can sit down and talk through it. In a general class, you give the main pieces in the beginning, and then you develop this. Okay? So any other questions?
Anybody?
Okay, then great. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thank you, Hemant. Thanks, everyone. Have a great evening and the rest of the week. See you next Monday.
Thank you, Hemant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hemant.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hemant, are you planning on being here next week?
I think so. I'll call you.
Okay, okay.
We have some guests in the house, and depending on the plan, I'll definitely, I want to come so I can be there and meet people and stuff like that.
Okay, you had mentioned that, so I just wanted to prepare for that for next week if you are.
But I will let you know. And depends
Okay.
on how much content there is. It does help me to have a screen. I have a large screen, and I'm able
Right.
to see things differently and then read and take notes, and I'm able to speak a little bit better in that way. But either way, it's important. Both are important to me.
Okay, all right, sounds good. I look forward to hearing from you.
I want to thank you. Everything went so smooth today, and I thank you. It's wonderful to have you there. It's a very big comfort for us.
Thank you, thank you. Glad to be here and learning. Thank you. Good night.
Was it okay? Was it clear?
Yes, yeah, no complaints from the peanut factory, I don't think, so. That's, no news is good news, I think, so good.
Yeah, please thank everybody, okay?
And we're grateful to give Linda some time off. That's the whole purpose, to give Linda some time off, so. All right, thank you.